Hello, everyone. Let me know when you are in here. Welcome to Get Dreaming with episode 9. Today is going to be with Giuliana Davar, so let's see if I can get her in here for us. Hi, Yota. So let me know when you're on here. Say hi, give us a wave. Again, this is episode 9, so let me know if you're watching live. Give us a hashtag live, a hashtag replay if you're watching the replay, a hashtag new if you are new, and a hashtag GDW fan if you are following along with this whole series. All right, seems like she is. So as you get logged in, let me know what kind of dreamer you are, if you're a lucid dreamer, if you're a conscious dreamer. Yay!
Hello, how are you?
Hello, great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Kind of
Good.
excited, also kind of nervous to be here.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. So today we're interviewing Giuliana, who is a conscious dreaming explorer. She is based in LA and she runs the Honey Hive Buzz. She has a passion for dreams, creating a community to share them, and regularly holds dream circles. Giuliana believes that all dreams hold meaning and value, even our super boring ones. These are all parts of clues into our inner workings, our relationships. There's no dreams too small, too big, too dark, or fragmented. All dreams, all people are welcome in her circles. And she believes that we all have the abilities to experience absolutely anything that we desire. Does that pretty much sum it up?
Yeah, that definitely, you hit that one right there on the head. That is pretty much my dreaming practice.
Awesome. So I want to ask you obviously about your dream circle container in a little bit, but to get started, maybe for some people who are going to tune in, don't know about you, tell us a bit more about you and how you got started with your dream work journey.
Yeah, okay. Hi there, everyone. Just want to say thank you, Lana, first of all, for having me on, and thank you for everyone who's tuning in. And hello also to the person who's saying hello in the chat. My love with you. Yeah, so basically, my dreaming journey really started, like many people, as a kid. I definitely had my fair share of nightmares that were kind of like my initiation into the space. It was pretty much almost every single night. Definitely consider myself now, give myself the title of a shadow dreamer because I feel like I'm constantly in those realms. But as a child, I definitely had to find ways to understand my dreams myself because nobody else can really help me with that. And so I kind of naturally became a lucid dreamer, although that's not really the premise of where my dreaming is at. But I found a way as a child to basically stop myself from having any of those dark dreams, which at the time was necessary. But as I grew older and grew into my dreaming practice, I very much welcome that space. I welcome the dark dreams and the shadow dreams and everything that comes forward. And so I've always just been me, synonymous with dreaming, but it wasn't until probably I was like 25 that I had a single solitary dream that just shook up my entire life path. And I woke up and I was like, okay, I'm not atheist anymore. I was atheist for like 9 years. I had a spiritual experience from it, which I had not experienced previously. And from there, my dreams just opened in a way that it was just beyond beautiful, honestly. I had no idea what was happening, but I just know that the tone and the feeling that was with me after those dreams had shifted. And then from there, I basically started recognizing that as I would tinker and toy with my dreams, I was shifting my outer reality and nothing had really changed. It was me that was changing. So suddenly I was able to show up in my life in completely different ways. So I did a lot of inner healing, facilitated that by myself on my own for about 1.5 years until I had recognized that who I was before was so different than who I was now. yet everything in my reality was still exactly the same. So from there, I basically started studying with like Robert Moss, and trying to bring dreams in a fun, exciting way to other people, because I've had so much fun exploring, even though lots of them are those shadow dreams. Like I said, I find value in all the dreams. So yeah, that's pretty much my journey.
Amazing. Wow, what a journey. I mean, tell us a bit more about what you said with this one particular dream where it kind of crashed your idea of being an atheist. Like, do you now, label yourself as something different, or are you just more open to whatever
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I just want to say that I was raised Mexican Catholic with a very large Catholic family. I started questioning my faith by the time that I was in fourth grade. And by the time I was in sixth grade, I started to really feel like I was, I guess, agnostic. By the time I was in eighth grade, I was like, okay, I'm an atheist. I'm definitely on that journey. And so when I had this dream, it was basically, okay, have you guys ever seen like Evan Almighty? And you know, when the God's in like the all white chamber, the house very much depicted like it's like white above, white below, everything's white. So I'm basically in that space, and I just see people everywhere, and it very much feels like a transition, a crossing zone. Yet when I look at each person, I suddenly get this like dream download that they're an individual. So from the sense of like they weren't just characters within a dream, it was every person I looked at, no matter how far away they were. I understood that there was like a spirit or a soul attached to it. And I had never, at least even though I was raised Catholic, I had never had that connection before. So I kind of like grabbed onto the nearest person, and I was like, tell me, like, where am I? Where am I? And she was like, what are you doing? Like, you're crazy. And pretty much after that, I was like, am I with spirit? And she's like, yeah, this is where we are. It was some kind of transition zone. So I woke up that next morning, and I was like, okay. And I was like, I don't know what the F this is. I was like, but I'm not atheist anymore. Show me what you got. And then afterwards, it was as if like my spirit team was like, oh, she's listening. Hit her with everything. Hit her with everything. So I started having incredible like prophetic dreaming of like my cousin basically getting pregnant. And I knew like pretty much at like the moment of her conception, and I told her 2 months later, yeah, she found out she was pregnant. So all these crazy, beautiful dreams started to really flow from that. And it took a really long time for me to actually even be comfortable with saying the word God, because I was so far divorced from that. So my spiritual practice is my dream practice. That is where I communicate with my ancestors, with my guides, with my spiritual team. It's where most of this self is just, those walls are just kind of down, where I can feel more open to receive. And a lot of that came through with the dreams, because I was so closed off for so many years. I wasn't willing to see anything in my physical environment that would then be like, okay, there's God or source or universe or somebody who's showing up for me. I didn't want to believe that. So I wouldn't see that in my reality. And then when my dreams came, they took me on a whole different journey.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how it's, a lot of people experience that with dreams, where you might have an experience that doesn't necessarily match up with your strict beliefs in your waking reality. They might open you up or kind of shuffle your reality a bit, something new. So
Yeah,
if
they
you were gonna, if you were gonna go back to kind of when you first started out, would you approach this any differently? Would you do anything differently with what you know now?
Yeah, no, at least if talking to my former self, absolutely not. No, I call them like, those were my years of darkness that were incredibly necessary for me to be in. I very much feel like I had to be divorced from the light. I mean, you guys may hold completely different beliefs on this, but for me, I would not have as much passion, excitement, and love for where I'm currently at if it wasn't for where I once was. And in that same sense, I really feel like the totality of that experience allows me to relate to so many more people, especially as I find that a lot of people in my community and my friends that are coming through, they also have, trouble connecting with even the word God, right? So we could say words like the universe or source or great dream or whatever else you would like to call that. So for me to understand and hold that side of things is very important for me. So no, I would definitely not change that. And even when it comes to like my shadow dreams and all my nightmares, it's so funny because how we mentioned about the dream weave container that I have, everyone's having the most beautiful dreams. And listen, I'm telling you, every single night I go in and it's like a shadow dream. It's like collective shadows just in there. And for a while, it kind of was like, bruising my ego a little bit. Like, I'm supposed to hold this container. I'm supposed to have the most enlightened dreams. And it's like, no, let's just throw that right out the window. You're supposed to have the shadow dreams because people are going to start having those, or they already are, and they're not looking at them. They don't feel comfortable being in that space. And now I can help navigate those spaces because I'm in there all the time. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't trade anything. I would just tell myself, like, keep going wherever you're going. It's okay. It's all valid.
Love it. And so you've started up this container. You mentioned a bit before that you were inspired by some of Robert Moss's work. What inspired you to start up this container? What is it? Tell us a bit more about it.
Okay, yeah. So basically, ever since I started hosting Dream Circles, it's been about, I want to say 2 years now. I think I literally just came up on my 2-year anniversary. I always had this notion that I wanted to work with conscious dreamers, and conscious dreamers by the sense of they bring conscious awareness to the dream field, recognizing it as a field of reality that benefits or basically engages this waking reality. So kind of this blending between the dreaming and the waking. And so most of my work around dream circles has been just, okay, people bring your dream, let's share, let's hold up mirrors. And it's been beautiful, but I've always had this undercurrent of like, I want something more. I want to bring a dream forward, because pretty much if you start to look at everyone's dreams that we're having, you'll recognize a lot of the same energies that are moving through us. So it's like, how can we then start to harness that and work with that together and recognize that, like, hey, you don't have to have your shadow dreams on your own, or just coming up and being together in this shared space and be like, okay, we can really move things into creation when we start to recognize what's coming up for us in the singular dream. So each dreamer is going to have his or her own dream experience, but as we dream together, we'll start to see this weaving. I call it the dream weave, right? So these lines between all of us. So my whole concept with the dream weave, which is what I call it, is we bring in a frequency that we work with each month. So this month we started with love, and it's how can each person dream with love? And we move it from the personal dream. What does that mean for you? Is it self-love? Is it personal love? Is it love in your immediate environment, your house? What does that look like? And then how can we bring love in for the collective? So what does that collective dream of love look like? But first we have to fill ourselves up, right? We have to recognize the places that we are obstructed in that, or where we can bring more love in, or where we already have an abundance of love. And then we bring it to the collective. What does that mean for us and our own communities? Because each person's really just a nodal point of their own community. We're coming together, but we're going off into service for our own respective families, friends, and communities. And then how can we then bridge that dream into waking life? So you were asking about what my inspiration is I feel that the dream field is this pure, creative, beautiful, rich, juicy source of energy. And it's like, how can we use that to bridge it into waking world? How can we bring these dreams out in a way that really starts to support us and makes life easier, more graceful, more fun, more joyous? Where can we start to take those little clues when things start to get off track or start to get a little bit dark? How can we then start to navigate in a way where it's like, we don't have to hit these rock bottoms because our dreams are guiding us? So the whole concept with the dream weave is totally bringing the dream from the collective into waking life. And then integrating that and just sitting with that, this balance of like doing the dream out in the world, and then being, which is having the dream, holding the dream, being the container yourself.
Love that. So beautiful. And I agree. I think, the integrating dream work back into the waking life is so important, and just such a beautiful process. And I've definitely experienced, in my own practice, how there does seem to be some kind of collective dream work, people having the same themes come up at the same times, or people mentioning different, very specific things on the same day. So it's a really, really interesting concept. What kind of, rituals or special parts of the dreamweave do you have to take part in if there's someone watching who wants to get involved? Like, do they have any prerequisites? Do they need to, have really good recall?
Yeah, no, honestly, anyone is completely welcome. Something that's been fun is that I have a group of 9 dreamers who are dreaming with me, but people who follow my Honey Hive account have been messaging me that they've been dreaming the same dreams that I'll be posting, or they'll be dreaming with the frequency of love, or even how Lana and I are in the Lucid Hive, how people will then be dreaming of my dream weave. So my whole thing with this is it's very open, so you can do your work alongside it if you don't feel like you want to join the community aspect of it. I absolutely believe in joining with community and holding each other's dreams together and working through them, because you'll really recognize that people are bringing dreams forward, and it may not necessarily be your dream, but there's still so much meaning for you that then can be applied to your life. But if that's not for you, you can absolutely start jumping in on your own and start dreaming with any kind of like frequency that you want. So if you follow me, I haven't really decided what we're going to do next month. I think we're definitely going to take a couple weeks off, because it has been intense in like the most beautiful way. I never thought it would be as powerful as it really has been. But basically one thing that I like to do is connect with the fact that you're dreaming with other people. So a little ritual that you can do is setting in up a like little meditation before bed and go, I'm connecting with this collective being, this body of dreamers, right? This hive of dreamers who are dreaming this very specific thing in. So you can drop in recognizing that you're dreaming with others. And I think that really helps to pull the frequency and make it stronger. And then you can start to ask yourself, like, set your own intention. So for week 1, it was all about what is the personal dream? What does this mean to me? And then week 2 will be setting the intention for, okay, what can I bring into the collective? Is there a message I need to share? Am I like a business owner? And that's where this dream is going to come through, right? That's a collective dream as well. So for basically in terms of like rituals, what we do is a little bit of meditation and then just dropping in with that space. So I've had people who have joined the Dream Wave who haven't really necessarily done dream work before. And you don't have to have the best recall, because the dreams are coming through you regardless. But there is something that happens is when you're in a community of other dreamers, you get activated into your dreaming self. So those first 2 weeks, we were just all jumping in with crazy dreams that were just pouring through. So you'll start to recognize that, like, if you have a couple days with less recall, that's completely okay, because there's another dreamer who's jumping right in who has more dreams. That's like the beauty of working together, is that you don't have to hold it all on your own. It's that we're all working together.
It actually might be a really good thing for those people who maybe don't have great recall, or they don't have it every night, and they get this space to connect with other dreamers and kind of use their dreams to do their own work as they're building that up.
Absolutely. And something that you'll find too is like, because I've basically been using like the Trello app, which is like a workspace app. So people have been dumping their dreams in. And as you start to see all the dreams that come through, you'll start to remember snippets of your own. So even if like you've lost a dream, right, you'll hear somebody else's dream that's like, oh, this reminds me of this dream that was said. So you'll be able to start to see how these dreams are all kind of interplaying with each other. And that will awaken more of your own dreams.
Love that. Yeah, it's definitely super powerful. Just even being around other dreamers, you start to notice all the different things. And yeah, like you said, in the Lucid Hive, we've had people, join, and they're like, I think it was Ed who said, he hadn't had a lucid dream in 2 years. And then that week he joined, he had this really powerful lucid dream. But a lot of people dreaming of each other and of your weave actually as well, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Can you share with us maybe one of the dreams that stands out for you from the weave, or like what a dream that came up and the work that came out of doing that?
Yeah. Okay, so I definitely have a dream in mind, but before I get to that dream, I just wanted to talk about real quick the differences in the dreamer's dreams. So like how I mentioned earlier, that I tend to hold the shadow dreams. So as we're dreaming with the frequency of love, for me, my work has been very much about seeing all the places that there is a lack of love and where love can be brought in. And then other people have very much, I guess each dreamer has a very unique signature of their dreams. And when I get to see them, like each day side by side, I'm literally entering into the world of that dreamer's mind. It's incredible. Like, I know whose dream it is before I could even read their name, because you can just see what's coming through. So with that, some people tend to dream a lot of like astral dreams or like relationship dreams, where they're dreaming about their family. But we have this one dreamer, oh my God, I love her so much. She is super intuitive. She's like a psychic. She does tarot card readings. She does a lot of like meditation. So what comes through for her dreams are what we would consider like Godhead dreaming, in the sense that because she works a lot with like Egyptian gods and Greek gods and like, all those types of archetypes. that's who she gets her messages from. So
Amazing.
it's really freaking cool. And at that same time, we had to like all drop our egos and be like, listen, we're not going to have those awesome dreams because we don't have that relationship. Right. And that's completely okay. Like what the dreams that are coming through for us are absolutely divine and perfect. But she had this incredible dream come through. It was like one of the first few nights. And she had asked the question, what do I need to know about unconditional love and relationship love? And so she had this beautiful dream that basically brought through, and she was a therapist. And in therapy, a couple came through, and the couple were like, we really don't feel like we need to be here. Our relationship is pretty much like perfect, but we're still here. We have a daughter and a son, and the daughter's name was Sarah, and the son's name was Yeshua. And so for those of you who know, that's Jesus and his daughter Sarah. So we have this beautiful already introduction to like unconditional love, where these parents come in and it's like, well, we don't feel like anything's wrong, but we're still going to show up to this therapy to just talk about it and to bring forth our children. So anyway, the dream continues on, and what ends up happening is she's shown the difference between unconditional love and that romantic love. And the image that's given is this rose in this still pool, which is just absolutely beautiful. And this man comes and picks it up and plucks it. And so he takes the rose out, and in that part already, the rose begins to die. Well, then he gives it to a woman, and he gets down on one knee, and she already has another lover, so she rejects him. And so in that moment, he chooses instead to stomp on this rose and to squish it. So at that point, we could see that there's like multiple options you could have taken, right? He could have been like, she rejected me, but I'm going to turn the love back to myself, or any other numbers of things. So we were basically seeing this image of unconditional love being this beautiful rose that it just ever unfolds onto itself in this still pool. And this conditional relationship love is that we just give so much of ourselves to these people, right? Without ever recognizing that we can turn this back in. So as she came through this whole realization of what it is to have like this unconditional versus conditional love, is that unconditional love is love without judgment, right? So if he was able to unconditionally love this woman who still said no, he would understand that that's okay. But as we get further away from the source of unconditional love, we start to take that in and twist that, and it starts to turn a little bit darker. So it's just a beautiful dream that had come through with so much like clear messaging, and it was awesome. I felt like I was like rocked. I was like, okay, dream reading is closed. We got the message. I actually have that full dream on my website. It's really incredibly beautiful. I would love to, I don't know if we could share links or something like that, but you can read Sam's whole dream and her whole analysis, because I'm not doing it any justice by sharing it right now.
Yeah, I think it sounds amazing, and the fact that it's even more amazing on your website is incredible too. I definitely want to read the full thing. But yeah, it's so interesting, and it's incredible how much information comes from imagery and how different people might interpret that. And it's just amazing, isn't it? How much comes out of one single
cool.
Storylines.
Yeah, Sam's dreams are literally like, she'll ask a question and she'll be like, take it on a walk. And it's like, let me show you the answer. And then I'll ask a question and it'll be like, here's everything that's not the answer. Figure it out yourself. Like, do the work. We're not giving it to you that easy. So yeah, absolutely being in the dream weave and then seeing the differences between people's dreams is like, some people really have that heavy symbolic imagery that comes through, and some people have like clear guidance, and it could be anywhere in between, right? It's not the same consistently each night, but definitely seeing the differences between how we personally receive information. Like we each, even the way that we view the world and walk in the world, we're not seeing the same thing because we're processing it differently.
Absolutely. And even, using dreams to process, I believe, definitely for me, and I'm sure you'd agree, that your perspective on the world and on all these things going on starts shifting so quickly and so rapidly. And it's like you bring in more consciousness or more space, like a wider view.
Absolutely. And I think wider view is exactly it. It's like, so you're going through your life and you have this very narrow view, and then the dream will just shift it like 2 feet to the left, and suddenly you have a completely different perspective, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that I was being a complete asshole in that situation, but now my dream called me out, and now I see. And it's like, even you can enter that dream again, right? Outside of the sleeping dream, and you could enter it through meditation. And then you can pick up on any single one of the objects or characters and then begin to explore it from that world. So it's completely
Absolutely.
is this wider view. And that's where actually I absolutely love Dream Circle, because it gives you the wider view, because then you have so many different people sitting here serving as a mirror to then be like, hey, listen, like, this is what's coming up for me. This is, you know, my life experience that makes me think about this. And as a dreamer, you can either like reject that or be like, hey, that does resonate with me as well. But then you'll have multiple people giving that wider view.
Yeah, and there's something so cool about doing that through a dream where it's not something that you've kind of chosen, you know, when you have your everyday life experience, you can kind of dress it up how you want, but with dreams and you share it and it's not like unless you're super, super lucid, it's not a conscious decision of what's going to come up and what you can share. And so I feel like it really does tap into that subconscious or unconscious and unprocessed work, and being able to share that in a group and get all these different perspectives, you really do gain so much insight from it.
Yeah, definitely,
So
definitely.
cool. Awesome. So your dream we've just finished for this kind of season, or I don't know what you
Yes.
call it.
Yeah, so actually, we'll be meeting right after this. We took a week off because last week's energies were so intense. I don't know if any of you guys felt it, but I swear to God, if I could, I would have been asleep for a whole week and a half. But there was just so much that was going on. It was so intense. And so we just decided to push it back for a week. So this is our integration week. So this is coming
Awesome.
back, tuning in with everyone, seeing how that was, how that felt. But yeah, pretty much it's been honestly crazy. This is like my biggest dream was to have one of these containers, and now that it's here, it's beautiful. It is amazing. It is so powerful. I'm in awe of the dreamers, and I feel like my dreaming has completely shifted by bearing witness to what everyone else is dreaming, which when I do like one-on-ones or even in Dream Circle, where I only hear one dream from a person a month, I don't have that understanding or
Yeah.
perspective of just like how everyone else is really dreaming things in.
Mm. It's so cool. So other people who are gonna tune into this or maybe catch it on replay and they want to connect, they want to try their own Dreamweave, are you gonna be launching this again, or what are your upcoming plans? What are you gonna be working on?
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to reformat this. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know exactly what this looks like. So I'm going to talk to my Dreamweave today and kind of see where everyone else wants to go for this. You can definitely follow me at the Honey Hive Buzz. There is going to be another iteration for sure, because I think that it was amazing and I absolutely adore it. It may not be exactly like what came through, but I mean, if you guys are catching this, you had no idea what came through anyway. So we're going to kind of just working with my whole I guess idea behind this is that I'm not the person who's sitting here saying I know all the dreams, this is only solely my container, you show up, you do things my way. It's very much a community project. So for me, it's looking at everyone who was in this current container and see what they want to bring forward to this, or what where they could see this really taking life. And that's, to me, like the heart of community dreaming, is not showing up like, you know, as the messiah or whatever with this, but working with everyone. So I'm thinking probably it'll be like a 2-week break before I start up again. I'll be honest, I need a rest. Like I've been responding on like the Trello app. I've been like dreams every single day, like what does this mean? So, you know, holding that space for everyone, as much fun as it has been, I think we all definitely need like 2 weeks to rest,
Yeah.
regroup, and then bring something else in.
Absolutely. I love that. So, for people who want to get involved, please share your website or where people can follow you.
Yeah, absolutely. Should I just type this in here?
Yeah, perfect. I'll also try and put it in a link too when I post this up.
And then and then I guess you guys can follow me. Yeah, I mean, it says the Honey Hive Buzz, but um for my
I don't
IG, and then
know.
just message me. I'm like super accessible, guys. Like I love you already, even though I've never met you. I totally love you. And I'm like, I geek out on this. So you could just message me and we're totally there. And I already have a few people who I know want to kind of come in for the next group. So it's really like working with like, okay, what dates? I mean, yeah, it'll be like a very one-on-one thing. I'll be messaging you, seeing what your availability is, and then weaving it in with everyone else who's interested.
Perfect. So that's the Honey Hive Buzz. And I know we're going to finish in a second or two, but just for people who also want to know those finer details of you, what is the Honey Hive Buzz? Like, why do you have that name? What is it?
Oh, how funny. Okay, that's a whole story. Um, so with let's see. Okay. So basically, when I started moving my dreaming practice out of just being like self-oriented, and brought it into wanting to be in service to other people, at that point, I had not yet taken anything with Robert Moss. I think I had maybe just found him. I had a whole experience where the bees just kept showing up at my doorstep, and I was like, that is for me. I know this is for me. I've never worked with bees. I have no idea what's happening. And I had this entire vision come through where the bees were very much asking me like, hey, they're very divine, loving creatures in service to the whole. So if you think about the bees, and then they have like their queen, right? And they're all working in community for service for their whole organism, which is the bee and beehive. So they came through very strong when I decided to move my dreams out of like self and into service. And they were like, we want you to basically bring this dream forward. We are here to help. And if you think about like bees, they're like master builders. They have like some crazy kind of like eye technology where they can go into space and they could envision what the hive can look like before it's ever being built, and they'll go back and share that information to the rest of the hive. So when they all pick like a new place to build in community together, they'll be like, okay, this spot, and they'll send it through. So they're really great in that sense of like dreaming in aspect, right? Like dreaming and
So
waking
cool.
up. Yeah, so they totally came to me, and they've been really guiding this process. They're absolutely beautiful, and it's been crazy because after I started working with the bees like on an energetic level, there's actually another woman, and she does actual physical like beekeeping and shamanic bee dream work. So yeah, so her name is let's see, her name is Beekeeping in Skirts. I'll follow her because she's amazing. And then after that happened, then I also found like the shamanic way of the bee, which was like more bee wisdom. And then since connecting with her, I've just found more and more people who are dreaming with bees. So that whole sense of like, you know, it's not just the solitary dream that's coming through, it's a dream that's being asked to be birthed into this reality. And I just happen to like pick up the mantle and be like, all right, we're going to do this. It's going to come through me. So that's where the honey hive came through. And for me, honey is a sweetness, and our tongue, our voice should be used as honey. And dreams are our creation, right? So as we go through and we're pollinating, we're making this beautiful honey and we're sharing it with the world. So that's kind of the whole background behind.
Love that. Such a beautiful story, and so
yeah,
cool.
And then I found you guys at the Lucid Hive, and I was like, I'm tripping. I was like, all right, I see you. And it's funny because